Hello, everyone. You're listening to Alternative Revelations with Linda Emanuel. And this is podcast number 132. And I'm going to do St. Louis, Missouri all by itself and the western part of Illinois, which is right over the river, the Mississippi River from St. Louis. And before I get started, I'd just like to remind you that if this resonates with you, so be it. If not, just disregard it. And with that said and done, I can begin the podcast. And as you know, I did mention in a previous podcast that I do live in the St. Louis County area. And yesterday, I got myself some safety in the city of St. Louis. I'm deep in the belly of the beast. St. Louis is a very Catholic town. And I believe it's a Jesuit stronghold. That's what I'm being told. And that's where the Jesuits in this area will go to be safe. And I've got to remind you that if you're within a 1 mile of the towers, and you're in a safe part of the city or the county, it doesn't mean that you're totally safe. I'm being told that the 5G can travel or affect about a mile from the tower. So people, let's say the city of St. Louis is actually going to be a safe zone, but people who live within a 1 mile of the city limits of St. Louis might feel the effects of the 5G. So the rule of thumb is shortness of breath, dizzy, can't breathe. Those are signs of the 5G. It's going to take a little while for you to feel symptoms, I believe, because the air probably has to be saturated. So within a mile of the city limits of St. Louis, the city will be hot itself because of the 5G towers that are going on off in the end of the county. So this, again, the city of St. Louis is a safe zone. It's really interesting. I've been told our creators let me know that the reason some of these towns are going to be safe as of the present moment, you got to remember it's as of today. There's shortage of contractors upgrading these towers, and some of these areas in St. Louis County right now today are safe, but it can turn around if they get these contractors who are really behind. Not enough contractors. These contractors could upgrade these towers and these areas could become hot. So again, the rule of thumb is shortness of breath, can't breathe, dizzy. And with people wearing these masks, it's going to be a double whammy, not being able to breathe. The city of St. Louis, or the St. Louis area, is actually a Jesuit revenge. And it dates back to around March 10th of 1804. And at the very end, I'll reveal that. So there's a lot of highways in St. Louis. And if I wasn't familiar with St. Louis, this would boggle my mind about the hot and safe spots in this area, because it's everything cities. Nothing is really highway. There's no boundaries, highway boundaries. And some of these cities are standing alone. Like, for instance, there's a Highway 55 that runs north to south. And 55 is about about 5 miles from the Mississippi River, which is on the east, which separates Missouri from Illinois. And right now, as of right now, everything in the county east of 55 going towards the river is safe. And again, that is because they don't have enough contractors upgrading these towers. But in October, these cities east of 55 could be hot. But I'm going to continue. The outskirts are the boundaries of St. Louis County. To the south is Arnold, Missouri, which is actually a standalone. So south of Arnold is safe, like Imperial and Barnhart, all that area. And then when you're going, I'm going to go clockwise from Arnold, which is like, let's say 6 o'clock on a clock. And over is Fenton. And the city of Fenton is hot. But Highway 30 goes through Fenton, and the cities out further out from Fenton, they're safe. But then you jump over to the west on Highway 44 is a town called Eureka, and that's still St. Louis County. It's a very big county. Eureka is a standalone, meaning that there's not going to be any 5G towers between Eureka and the Fenton area. In that whole area, it's green. It's a lot of forest land, a lot of parks. So Eureka is a standalone. And then you jump over, going north, you jump over to Wildwood, which is a developing area, and that's a standalone. And then you're moving north, and all the way to the river from Wildwood is safe. That's a safe zone, but there's a lot of parks. And the Missouri River, that's where the Missouri River is. And when you cross over to St. Charles and that, all across the Missouri River is safe to the west. And then moving clockwise, you jump up to Chesterfield. It's a pretty large city now. Back in 20, 30 years ago, it was just a unincorporated small part of the county. But Chesterfield's going to be hot, and it's not a standalone. It's connected to all these Baldwin, Town and Country, Creve Coeur, Maryland Heights. These are all hot. And there are two safe cities, I've been told, inside the grid of the county. And of course, the club members live in these two towns. One is called Frontenac, and one is called Ladue. And people, if you live in St. Louis, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So what makes this really a complicated grid for St. Louis is what we call North County. North County in St. Louis County. A lot of these towns, again, the contractors haven't upgraded these towers. So these cities, as of today, I'm going to read off, are safe. But by October, they could be hot. So it's very, very difficult to tell you that these cities are going to be safe for sure, because the reason they're safe right now, the towers aren't upgraded, and the 5G won't be today. If they turned it on today, these areas would be safe. So I'm going to read you some towns. These towns are in North County, and right as of now, they're safe today. St. Anne, Woodlawn Terrace, Kinloch, Berkeley, Ferguson. That's where Michael Brown incident happened. Delwood, Bridgeton, Hazelwood, Florissant, Blackjack, and Spanish Lake. As of today, these towns are safe. But I can't guarantee they'll be safe in October, because these are being upgraded. So they could be, by October, they could be hot. Now, the cities in North County that are hot right now are Normandy, Jennings, Pine Lawn, Pagedale, Wellston, Veneta Park, Overland, Breckenridge Hills, Overland, and St. John. Those are all small, a lot of little cities in St. Louis County. St. Louis County makes up most of the metropolitan population in St. Louis. I don't know how many millions there are, but St. Louis itself is not very big city, as far as population. So the St. Louis County is very large, and there's a lot of small incorporated towns in St. Louis County. And all the towns like Kirkwood, Webster, Maplewood, Shrewsbury, Afton, where I live, Sunset Hills, Crestwood. I might have mentioned Kirkwood already. These are all hot. But east of 55, the 5G has not been upgraded yet. So that's right as of right now. Lemay, Oakville, they're safe. Anything east of 55. So now I'm going to move across the river, because St. Louis, the metropolitan area, it's kind of Illinois is a very important part of St. Louis area. A lot of people in this area of Illinois cross the river every day and go to work. So let me get my Illinois grid out. And I am going to put two grids on the description of this podcast. One for the city of St. Louis County, and the other grid for Illinois. Now, to the west of this area is the boundary of the Mississippi River, and on the other side, of course, to the west is St. Louis, Missouri. So the easternmost boundary of this Illinois grid are two towns called O'Fallon and Shiloh. And those are the easternmost boundaries. And inside this boundary is Fairview Heights, which is hot, and Belleville, which is hot. Moving up, I'm going to read these towns that are hot and safe. Okay, Edwardsville, Illinois, which is kind of to the north of Belleville. It's hot, and it's a standalone. And Alton, Illinois, to the north, is also safe as of today. Granite City, which is really close to the North County across the river from St. Louis. As of today, Granite City is safe. Collinsville is safe. East St. Louis is hot. It's right over the river. Cahokia, Illinois is hot. Centerville is safe. Washington Park is hot. Fairview Heights, I might have said this already, is hot. Belleville again is hot, and it's a standalone. And Columbia, Illinois to the south is safe. And Columbia on down is all safe. And I don't know if I mentioned Millstadt to the south is safe. So again, the rule of thumb is shortness of breath, can't breathe, dizzy. If you're feeling those effects, I can't tell you what to do, but if I were in your shoes, I'd be finding safety. This is going to start around October, I'm being told. So now I'm going to get into why St. Louis is being targeted by the Jesuits. And it goes all the way back to the French Revolution, which was a Jesuit. The Jesuits were behind that, the French Revolution. And if you read the history of the Jesuits, you'll know that they were punishing the monarchs because the Jesuits had been kicked out of 80 countries, because wherever they get into a country, they infiltrate it, they take it over, they cause revolution, they cause nothing but chaos and misery for the people living in the country. So all these monarchs, they kicked the Jesuits out in 1773, and then by 1773, and then the Pope issued a papal bull condemning the Jesuits and disbanding them. So they had to go into asylum, and some of them went into Russia. Catherine the Great gave them safe harbor. Another ruler in Germany gave them safe harbor. He was Protestant. They went to, I think, Corsica, and they also went into Great Britain through St. George III, and that's how they ended up infiltrating and taking over England. So what happened was the Jesuits had groomed Napoleon to be the leader of France. And again, they were in asylum. They were disbanded. Legally, they had no power. And any Catholic nation which would give them sanctuary would be excommunicated. So they were powerless at this time. And Napoleon, after the French Revolution, France was broke. They had no money. And the French Revolution freed all French slaves. And Haiti was a big moneymaker for the monarchy of France with the sugar plantations. And the French Revolution freed all those slaves in Haiti, freed the slaves in New Orleans, which was a possession of the French. So Napoleon tried to reenact slavery in Haiti, sent 12,000 troops down there. They all died of fever. It failed. So he had to abandon the sugar trade. So he needed money. And France had rights over what we call the Louisiana Purchase, Louisiana Territory, from from the Mississippi River all the way to the Rockies. But Spain owned some of this territory. So secretly, Thomas Jefferson made a deal with Napoleon to buy or to get the rights to this. They call it the Louisiana Purchase. America paid $15 million in American currency, 3 cents an acre, for all this territory. But the Jesuits did not know about this, because in the back of the minds of the Jesuits, they were going to use this territory to eventually invade and attack America from the West. So Napoleon went behind their backs and sold the Louisiana Purchase to America. So in bottom line, this is a Jesuit revenge for the Louisiana Purchase. Now, they're not going to get St. Louis City, but they're going to get the rest of us, So March 10th of 1804 was the official Three Flag Day, where the ownership of the Louisiana Purchase was transferred from the Spanish to the French and then to America. And it was officially done in St. Louis, Missouri. And I will leave a link in the body of the podcast to a website that really gets into all about the history of the Louisiana Purchase and the Three Flag Day. So that's why the Jesuits are revenge. The Jesuits are all about revenge. Mars is not the god of war. Mars is the god of revenge for the Romans. And the Roman Empire never ceased to exist. So if you live in St. Louis or the east side of Illinois, you know the safe and the hot zones. The big thing is to watch for symptoms: shortness of breath, can't breathe, dizziness. Those are symptoms of 5G, not the virus. We all know what the truth is about the virus, and I won't say its name because I don't want this podcast to get scrubbed. So be aware, prepare, and be safe from the 5G. And until next time, good night and God bless.